First contact. The night sky above Ryan Foster's remote mountain observatory exploded with lights that shouldn't exist. Meteors didn't zigzag. Stars didn't pulse in synchronized patterns. And whatever was happening now definitely wasn't in any astronomy textbook he'd ever read. "What in the world?" he muttered, adjusting the massive telescope. The readings were off the charts, synergy signatures unlike anything Earth scientists had documented. Ryan ran a hand through his disheveled brown hair, eyes never leaving the monitor as data streamed in, 10 miles above. Commander Zara of the Lumerian Empire watched Earth's glowing surface through the viewport of her scout ship. Her violet skin shimmered under the soft lights of the command, console as she analyzed the planet's defenses. "Primitive technology," she reported, fingers dancing across holographic displays. "No significant orbital defenses. Atmosphere compatible with our physiology. The Council was correct. This world will make an excellent colony." Her second-in-command nodded. "We should begin mapping invasion points immediately." Zara hesitated. An unusual hesitation for the Empire's most decorated scout commander. "I'll conduct preliminary surface reconnaissance myself. Prepare a stealth pod." Unexpected encounter. Ryan was halfway up the mountain path, equipment bags slung over his shoulder when the ground trembled beneath him. Not an earthquake, more localized, like something had struck nearby. Following his instincts, and against every horror movie rule he knew, he changed direction, heading toward the disturbance. The small crater wasn't large, perhaps 20 feet across, but what caught his attention was the shimmering object at its center. Not a meteor. Too perfect, too ... engineered ... "Hello?" he called, approaching cautiously. The pod's door slid open with a soft hiss, and Ryan froze. A figure emerged, humanoid but unmistakably alien. Tall and lithe, with skin the color of twilight, violet eyes that glowed like distant stars, and dark hair that seemed to capture the night sky itself. Zara assessed the human before her. Male, unarmed, alone. Perfect for initial information gathering. She'd planned to stun him immediately, but something in his expression gave her pause. "Not fear, fascination. You're not screaming," she said in perfect English, her translation implant working flawlessly. Ryan smiled, a genuine, warm expression that caught Zara completely off guard. "Should I be? I've spent my life looking for proof we're not alone in the universe. Hard to be scared when you're witnessing your life's dream." "Worlds collide, you're not what I expected," Zara admitted, maintaining a safe distance. Ryan laughed softly. "I could say the same. I'm Ryan Foster." "Commander Zara," she replied automatically, then frowned at her own carelessness. Protocol dictated no names, no ranks. "Commander? So there's a whole fleet of you up there?" Ryan glanced skyward. Zara remained silent, analyzing his response. There was still no fear, only curiosity. How strange these humans were. "Let me guess, reconnaissance before the main event." "Classic military strategy," Ryan continued, surprising her with his insight. "You speak as if you've encountered alien species before," Zara said. Circling him slowly, Ryan shrugged. "Science fiction prepared us pretty well, apparently. Though it didn't mention anything about beautiful violet commanders falling from the sky, the compliment caught Zara unprepared. Beautiful. No one in the Empire spoke of beauty. Efficiency, strength, tactical advantage, these were valued. Not beauty. Something warm and unfamiliar fluttered in her chest. "You should be afraid," she whispered, unsure if she was warning him or herself. Ryan's smile never faltered. "Maybe tomorrow. Tonight, I'd rather learn who you are and why you're here," and for the first time in her decorated military career, Commander Zara of the Lumerian Empire felt her resolve waver. She had come to conquer Earth, but no tactical training had prepared her for the disarming power of a simple human smile. Undercover operation the next morning found Zara transforming before a reflective panel in her cloaked scout vessel. Her skin shimmertech activated with a soft hum, the violet hue of her natural complexion fading to a human tan. She studied her reflection critically. The adaptations were flawless. but she felt strangely vulnerable without her true appearance. The Council expects results within one planetary rotation, her second in command. Lieutenant Nexus reminded her through the communication device. Our fleet awaits your signal to begin the colonization sequence. Zara nodded, adjusting the Earth clothing she'd synthesized based on observations. I require more intelligence on their social structures and potential resistance capabilities. The human eye encountered possessed unusual perception. She didn't mention how. Ryan's smile had lingered in her thoughts throughout the night cycle. Such an admission would be considered weakness in the Empire. Cultural immersion. Ryan couldn't focus on his work. The encounter with the alien commander with Zara had upended his understanding of reality. He'd promised not to tell anyone, though. Who would believe him anyway? A knock at his observatory door startled him from his thoughts. "Hello?" called a familiar voice that sent his heart racing. She looked human, no olive-skinned, with dark hair cascading over her shoulders, but Ryan recognized her instantly. Something in her eyes still held starlight. "Zara, how did you... His words trailed off as he took in her remarkable transformation. "Adaptive. Biomimicry," she explained with clinical detachment. "I need to understand your species better." "You will assist me?" Ryan raised an eyebrow. That almost sounded like a request. For the first time, Zara's composure faltered. "In the Empire, we don't request, we command." "Well, on Earth," Ryan said with a gentle smile, "especially if you want to blend in. You might want to try asking nicely, growing connection over the next several days." Ryan became Zara's reluctant guide to humanity. He took her to the small mountain town nearby, watching with amusement as she encountered coffee, music, and laughter for the first time. "Your species expends considerable energy on activities with no survival benefit," she observed as they sat in a local cafe. A half-eaten pastry before her. Ryan laughed. "That's kind of the point. Joy isn't about survival. It's about making survival worthwhile." "Joy." Zara repeated the word, as if testing an alien concept. "The Empire teaches that emotion clouds judgment. And what do you think?" Ryan asked, leaning forward. Their eyes met across the table, and something unspoken passed between them. Zara's fingers twitched involuntarily toward his hand before she caught herself. "I think... double quotes," she began carefully, "that my judgment has never been so unclear." Conflicting loyalties that night. Aboard her ship, Zara's communication panel flashed urgently. "Commander, explain your delay," demanded Admiral Krell, his severe features filling the display. "The Lumerian Armada cannot remain in stealth orbit indefinitely. The humans are more complex than anticipated," Zara reported, her voice steady despite her inner turmoil. "Their defenses are unconventional." "Elaborate." Zara hesitated. How could she explain what she herself didn't understand? That a simple human smile could disarm more effectively than any weapon? That the warmth in Ryan's eyes when he spoke of his stars made her question everything she'd been taught? "Their strength lies in their connections," she finally said. "They form bonds that transcend tactical advantage. I need more time to identify the optimal strategy to overcome this." Admiral Krell's expression darkened. "You have 3 more planetary rotations, Commander. After that, we proceed with or without your reconnaissance. The Empire will not be denied this colony." As the transmission ended, Zara gazed out at the glittering lights of the small Earth town below, where she knew Ryan was watching the same stars from his observatory. For the first time in her life, she found herself hoping for a mission to fail. Truth unveiled. Rain drummed against the observatory dome as Ryan worked late, analyzing strange atmospheric disturbances he'd been tracking for days. The pattern was too regular, too artificial-like, something massive hiding in orbit. The realization hit him suddenly. Connecting all the pieces, cloaked ships positioning themselves around Earth. When Zara arrived, her hair damp from the rain, Ryan's welcoming smile died on his lips. "There's an invasion fleet up there, isn't there?" he asked quietly, turning his monitor toward her. "I've been mapping there. Positions based on atmospheric interference." "Patterns?" Zara's composure faltered. As she stared at the screen, showing a perfect deployment formation around Earth, "How did you—" "I'm good at seeing what others miss," Ryan said, his voice hollow. "Just like I missed what was right in front of me. You were never here to make contact. You came to prepare for conquest." The silence between them stretched painfully as rain pattered against the glass dome above. "Was any of it real?" Ryan finally asked. "Or was I just an information source to be exploited?" "Hearts divided, the mission was real," Zara replied, her disguise shimmer-tech flickering briefly with her emotional turmoil. "The Empire identified Earth as an ideal colony world months ago." Ryan stepped back as if physically struck. "And what happens to humans in this plan?" "Integration where possible. Relocation where necessary," she recited mechanically, though the words tasted bitter now. "Relocation? You mean displacement? Becoming refugees on our own planet." Ryan's voice cracked with anger and betrayal. "And those who resist integration?" Zara remained silent, unable to voice the Empire's standard protocol for resistance. "I thought I knew you," Ryan whispered. "I thought what was happening between us meant something." "It does," Zara admitted, finally abandoning protocol. "That's why I've delayed sending my final report." "Why?" "I've been questioning everything I was taught." Ryan shook his head. "Not enough to warn me. Not enough to stop it." Imperial intervention. The observatory door burst open, revealing a tall figure in sleek armor. Lieutenant Nexus, his natural violet skin unconcealed, weapon raised. "Commander Zara, you've violated communication protocols," he announced coldly. "The Admiral sent me to investigate your silence." Zara stepped protectively in front of Ryan. "Stand down, Lieutenant." "This situation is more complex than our intelligence," suggested. "Your judgment appears compromised by extended contact with the subject," Nexus observed, eyes narrowing. "Your shimmer-tech is malfunctioning. Your true form is partially visible." Ryan watched as patches of violet appeared on Zara's skin, her disguise failing under stress. Despite everything, he found her true appearance beautiful, radiant, even in this moment of crisis. "The invasion proceeds tomorrow." Nexus continued. "Admiral Krell has assumed command of the operation, in your absence of leadership." "Crossroads of fate tomorrow?" Zara's voice sharpened. "That wasn't the plan." "We need more assessment." "Assessment complete." Nexus cut her off. "Your reports provided sufficient data on weaknesses. The Council has approved immediate colonization." Ryan's eyes met Zara's, hurt and betrayal mingling with something deeper. "So everything you've learned about us, everything I showed you, it all becomes intelligence for invasion. Return to the command ship immediately." Commander Nexus ordered. "The human will be taken for processing as the first integration subject." In that moment, seeing Ryan's pain, Zara made her choice. With lightning reflexes, she disarmed Nexus, sending his weapon skittering across the floor. "Run," she told Ryan, struggling to restrain her stronger lieutenant. "Take what you know to your authorities." "Warn them, Zara. Go," she commanded, her shimmer-tech failing completely now, her true violet form fully revealed as she fought to give him time. Ryan hesitated at the door, looking back at the alien woman who had changed his understanding of the universe, the woman who had captured his heart even as her people planned to capture his. "World, I will find you," he promised before disappearing into the rain. Nexus sneered as he gained the upper hand in their struggle. "Treason against the Empire. You've doomed yourself for a primitive species." Zara watched the door where Ryan had vanished, strange peace settling over her despite her circumstances. "No," she said quietly. "I think I've finally found myself." Desperate measures. Arian's truck skidded through mud as he raced down the mountain road, rain pelting the windshield. His mind spun with impossible plans. How could one person stop an alien invasion? Who would believe him? His phone buzzed with an incoming text. Coordinates and a single message. "Meet me. I can help." An hour later, Ryan found himself at an abandoned quarry where Zara's small scout ship hovered, its cloaking field partially disabled to allow him to see it. She waited at the entrance ramp, her natural violet skin luminous in the dim light, a bruise darkening one cheek. "How did you escape?" he asked, maintaining his distance, despite the urge to close the gap between them. "I'm still their commander," Zara said simply. "Until Krell officially relieves me, the loyalty protocols give me certain advantages. But we don't have much time." Ryan crossed his arms. "Why should I trust you now?" "You shouldn't," she admitted. "But right now, I'm Earth's only chance." Alliance forged inside the ship. Zara projected a holographic display of Earth surrounded by dozens of Lumerian vessels. "The invasion begins at dawn," she explained. "Standard protocol, atmospheric entry at these points. Neutralization of military installations, followed by population centers." Ryan studied the projection, face grim. "What do you propose?" "The Armada receives deployment signals from the command ship," Zara said, highlighting one vessel. "If we can sabotage it, we create confusion, buying time for your world to mobilize defenses." "We?" Ryan questioned. "You're betraying your people for a planet that isn't yours." Zara's star-bright eyes met his. "I've seen what the Empire hasn't: the beauty in your chaos, the strength in your connections. Your world deserves its chance." As they worked through the night, planning their desperate mission, the distance between them gradually closed, physically and emotionally. "Why are you really doing this?" Ryan asked softly as they finalized the details. Zara hesitated, then placed her hand over his. The touch sent warmth spiraling through both of them. "Because you showed me that conquest isn't the only way worlds can come together," she whispered. "Bonds unbroken as." The scout ship approached the massive Lumerian command vessel, hidden among the debris of Earth's orbital satellites. Ryan and Zara shared a moment of quiet before the storm. "If this goes wrong, Ryan began. Zara silenced him by pressing her fingers gently against his lips. "I was taught that emotion clouds judgment," she said. "But I've learned it can also clarify purpose." Their foreheads touched, a gesture intimate in any galaxy. What had begun as conquest had transformed into something neither had anticipated, a connection that transcended their different worlds. "In another life," Ryan murmured, "we could have met under different stars. Perhaps we still will," Zara replied, her voice soft with promise. The kiss they shared was gentle. Exploratory human and Lumerian, discovering each other beyond physical differences, finding harmony where there should have been dissonance. Into the breach, Zara's command codes granted them access to the flagship's auxiliary bay. They moved swiftly through corridors, Zara leading with practiced precision while Ryan followed. Carrying the disruption device they'd constructed, "The communication hub is 2 levels up," she whispered. "Once we plant the device, we'll have 3 minutes to reach the escape pods." They rounded a corner and froze. Admiral Krell stood before them, flanked by guards. "I expected better from my finest commander," he said, his voice like ice. "Betraying your empire for a primitive species?" "Not primitive," Zara replied, standing tall. "Different. Valuable in ways our empire has forgotten." Krell's gaze shifted to Ryan. "And you brought one aboard." "How? Sentimental." "The invasion is wrong," Zara stated firmly. "Earth deserves its independence, its chance to find its own path among the stars." The Admiral's expression hardened. "Your human has corrupted you with emotional weakness. Take them both to the brig." The invasion proceeds as planned. As guards moved toward them, Ryan caught Zara's eye. A silent communication passed between them. The plan had changed, but their resolve hadn't. "Now," Zara shouted. Ryan activated the device prematurely. Instead of disabling communications, it released an electromagnetic pulse that plunged the corridor into darkness. In the confusion, Zara grabbed Ryan's hand, and they ran not toward escape, but deeper into the heart of the command ship. Their fight for Earth had only just begun. Final gambit alarms blared throughout the Lumerian flagship as Ryan and Zara raced through darkened corridors. Emergency lighting cast everything in an eerie purple glow. The main bridge, Zara panted as they ducked into a maintenance shaft. "If we can't disable communications, we need to address the fleet directly." Ryan followed her through the narrow passage. Will they listen to you over Krell? Lemurian command structure honors the voice of reason, she explained, pausing at a junction to check for guards. If I can present evidence that Earth deserves sovereignty, there's a protocol for mission reassessment. Evidence? Ryan questioned. Zara's eyes met his in the dim light. You, she said simply. What you are, what you feel. How you've changed MIS, all the evidence needed that there's more to gain from alliance than conquest. They emerged near the bridge, the massive doors sealed for emergency protocols. One last obstacle, Zara murmured, approaching the biometric scanner. My authorization may have been revoked, but the doors hissed open before she could finish. Lieutenant Nexus stood waiting, weapon lowered. Commander, he acknowledged with a formal nod. Zara tensed, ready to defend Ryan, but Nexus merely stepped aside. Your loyalty to your principles, rather than blind obedience to orders, ... double quotes, Nexus said quietly. It has made many of us question our own. Bridge of Destiny, they entered the bridge to find a standoff in progress. Several officers had positioned themselves between Admiral Krell and the command console. This mutiny will cost you your lives. Krell was shouting as the doors closed behind Ryan and Zara. The bridge fell silent as all eyes turned toward them. This isn't mutiny, Zara stated firmly, stepping forward. This is the Empire's own protocol for mission reassessment when new intelligence emerges. She guided Ryan to the center of the bridge where all could see him. Behold humanity, she announced. Not as subjects to be conquered, but as potential allies with perspectives our Empire desperately needs. Sentimentality, Krell spat. You would risk our strategic advantage for emotional attachment. I would evolve our thinking, Zara countered. For millennia, the Empire has expanded through conquest, seeing all differences as weaknesses to be corrected. Yet here stands proof that difference brings strength. Ryan stepped forward, unafraid despite being surrounded by alien technology and personnel. Your commander has seen what makes Earth worth preserving, he said, addressing the bridge crew directly. Not our technology or resources, but our capacity for connection, for finding beauty in imperfection, for valuing relationship over dominance. Turning point. A low murmur spread across the bridge as the officers considered his words. Even in an empire built on logic and conquest, the authenticity of his appeal resonated. Krell sensed the shifting mood. Enough. The invasion proceeds as planned. Guards, remove them. But no one moved to obey. Admiral Nexus spoke, his voice firm. I invoke the 7th protocol of stellar wisdom. When conquest threatens greater loss than gain, alternatives must be considered. You cite ancient texts against direct orders? Krell's voice shook with fury. I cite the foundation of our civilization, Nexus replied. The wisdom that built our empire, not just its power. Zara stepped forward, her posture reflecting her command authority. I propose an alternative, diplomatic first contact, cultural exchange, partnership instead of subjugation. Silence fell across the bridge. As the weight of this radical suggestion settled among the crew, then, one by one, officers returned to their stations, awaiting new orders. Krell, seeing his authority crumble, reached for his weapon only to find Nexus's hand firmly restraining his arm. The tide has turned, Admiral, Nexus said quietly. Choose your next actions wisely. New beginnings dawn broke over Earth as Ryan and Zara stood at the viewport of the scout ship, watching the Lemurian fleet reconfigure from invasion formation to diplomatic approach. Will your people accept this change? Zara asked, her hand finding his. Ryan smiled, the expression that had first captured her heart now filled with new hope. Humans fear the unknown, but we're incredibly adaptable. First contact with a peaceful delegation will open doors we've only dreamed of. The Empire will need to adapt as well, Zara acknowledged. Centuries of expansion through conquest won't change overnight, but it has changed, Ryan reminded her. Turning to face her fully, his hands gently framing her violet face. Because of you. Because you were willing to see beyond what you were taught to what could be. The first rays of sunlight, illuminated them both as their lips met. Human and Lumerian embracing at the threshold of a new era for both their worlds. "What happens now?" Ryan whispered against her skin. Zara smiled, her star-bright eyes holding his gaze. "Now, we build bridges between worlds. Together, as..." Their ship descended toward the meeting point where Earth's leaders would receive the first official Lumerian delegation. Zara reflected on the strange path that had led her here. She had come to conquer Earth. But a human smile had conquered her heart, instead in that unexpected surrender. Both their worlds had found a greater victory than any empire could claim. In the embrace of dawn's light, two beings from distant stars forged a connection that would forever change the course of their civilizations, proving that even across the vast expanse of space, hearts could find each other and create something new and beautiful from the cosmic dust of possibility.